Hi, I am Divyam and I'll be comparing between XV6 and Linux OS for file system interface. So first we'll have a general comparison between XV6 and Linux OS. Then we'll have a look at some of the missing features in XV6 and we'll also have a look at the implementation of these features. So in buffer cache, XV6 uses a simple LRU eviction policy. However, in case of Linux OS, many complex eviction policies are used. x86 doesn't support memory mapped files, whereas in Linux OS, caches integrated with virtual memory supports memory mapped files. Logging. x86 logs entire blocks even if there's change in very few bytes, therefore it is inefficient. However, Linux OS does not log entire blocks. File system on disk. In XV6, file system should fit on one disk device and should not change in size. In Linux OS, RAID is used to combine many disks into single logical disk, and new software implementations also allow growing or shrinking the logical device by adding or removing disk on the fly. So some other features, XV6 lacks support for snapshots and incremental backup. Linux OS supports snapshots and incremental backups. It also allows many kinds of resources to be accessed with the same system calls as on disk storage, such as name pipes. So the first missing feature which we look is the symbolic link. A symbolic link, also known as a symlink or a soft link, is a file that contains a reference to another file or directory. This other file is called the target. The symbolic link is a second file that exists independently of its target. Like in this figure, Fred would be a symlink, whereas Barney would be the target file. So soft links can link paths on different volumes and file systems in contrast with hard links. In Linux OS, symlinks are created using the symlink system call. The ln shell command normally uses the link system call, which creates a hard link, but to create a symlink, we have to specify the -s flag. So in this figure, we have created a symlink where ROS source tutorials is our target and ROS_tut is the path of the symlink. So Linux uses fast symlinks. That means it stores the target path in the data structures which is used for storing the file information on the disk, that is the inodes. So it is fast as it saves a disk block and a disk read. The other missing feature which we look at is the name pipe. In XV6, two child processes can communicate through pipes only if they have a common ancestor who created the pipe. But to support communication between any two processes, Linux OS has name pipes. It is also known as FIFO or first in first out for its behavior. So for the name pipe, there is a reader's process and a writer's process. A name pipe is durable and appears in the file system namespace. In Linux OS, name pipes are created using the mkfifo system call. So in this figure, we have first created a name pipe, then the ls sends its output to the pipe and the cat command takes the input from the pipe, which then prints the result of the ls command on the terminal. So two separate processes can access the pipe by name. One process can open it as a reader and the other as a writer. The result of opening a named file is a file descriptor that behaves exactly like one of the two file descriptors depending on the open mode, which is read or write. Also, a named pipe has to be open at both ends simultaneously before we can proceed to do any input or output operations. Now we'll have a look at the implementation of symbolic links. We'll create a new file type, tsymlink, which represents symbolic link. Then we'll add a new system call symlink target path, which creates a symlink at the path which refers to the target. Then we'll store the target in the inodes data block as is done in the case of Linux OS. Finally, we'll modify the open system call when the path refers to the symbolic link. So we modify the create function by adding the case that if the type of the file is tsymlink, then we return its inode. Now coming to the symlink function, we have to remember that for any updates we do to the file system, we have to keep them inside the begin OP and end OP calls. This is done to ensure crash safety. Now in the symlink system call, what we have to do is to create an inode of the type tsymlink, which is done using the create method. So in this inode, we have to write the target, and this is done using the write_i method. Finally, to copy the modified inode, which is currently in the memory, to the disk, we use the iUpdate method. So now coming to the open system call, we first check whether the file exists or not. So if it doesn't, then open call must fail. This we can do using the namei function, which returns the inode for the path name. Now we have to read the data from the inode, and we do this using the readI method. Now it could be the case that the linked file is also a symbolic link. So in this finger, A, which is a symlink, also points to B, which is another linked file. So we recursively follow it till a non-linked file is reached, which is C in this case. It could also be the case that the links follow cycle. So in that case, there could be two ways which we can take. Either we limit the depth of the links, like let's say to 10, or we can implement a cycle detection algorithm. Coming to the implementation of the named pipes, we first create a new inode type, tpipe. Then we create a new system call, make FIFO, for the creation of named pipes. We'll also have to maintain an in-memory table containing the inode number, the read pointer, and the write pointer. Finally, we'll modify the open system call to work with named pipes. In make FIFO system call for creating named pipes, we will use the mknode system call to create an inode with the tpipe file type. For the in-memory table, we make a structure having three attributes, the inode number inum and the pointers to read and write. Then our table would be the array of the above created structure. In open system call, we handle the case of opening a named pipe. So if the type of the inode is tpipe, we look for an entry in the table with the given inode number. If the entry is not present, we allocate a new table entry by calling the pipealloc method, which returns a pair of the file pointers, that is for reading and writing. Next, we allocate a file descriptor using fdalloc for the corresponding file structure, that is the read or write end. Now, if the open mode is right, then we will wait till there is some reading process. As mentioned earlier, communication should be from both sides simultaneously. So what we do is that we try to wake up a reading process and simultaneously make the writing end sleep. So after we have found the reading process, the communication is set up and we complete our work. So for this part, we can use various functions such as acquire and release, wake up and sleep. Similar would be the case if the open mode of the file is read. This completes the implementation, and thank you.